I want to show you some modifications I've made to my Ascend FS12T kayak. I added a trolling motor, I added outriggers, I raised my seat up, I put foam matting in it for sound deadening, I put a pull handle so I can stand easier, I added rod holders. Let's take a look at what I've done here that you can do too. First thing I did was I installed a 2x6, painted and sealed 2x6 using L brackets. Now I had gear track on it anyway, so on the front I just mounted it with these little screws, the L bracket stainless steel into this. On the back side I took the L bracket and just put it right down into the kayak. Okay, and I removed the rod holders that come with it so I could get my fingers underneath to put the nuts underneath it here and tighten it up with nuts and washers. So that was the first thing I did, was mount the 2x6. It's hanging off the sides of my boat by 8 inches on either side, so the motor can go on either side. I like it because the telescoping handle enables me to rest my arm on it as I'm motoring along. It's got 5 forward speeds, 3 reverse speeds. It's a Newport vessel, 46-pound thrust. It draws 40 amps at full throttle. So I have a 55 amp hour battery that I put on the other side of the kayak to counterbalance the weight. From PVC 1.5 inch, I took some T's and some crosses and made myself a 4-rod holder where I only originally had 2. Now I've got 4 plus the one that comes with it for a total of 5. In the very back I put a wheel carrier that I bought from Amazon. It's great for bringing the kayak down to the water and for bringing the kayak back up out of the water. It just sits right down on top. They cost around $34. Then I ended up getting some great ideas off of YouTube using fence staking material, where the fence stake goes across the back of the kayak and is simply held in place with a washer and a screw. These are stainless steel. I zip tied the chair rung to the fence staking, and I did the same thing in the front so that I can lift this up and down. What that does is it now gives me, where I was sitting on the bottom of the kayak only 4 inches under my chair, I can now put bait buckets under there, I can put Plano boxes under there, tackle boxes, mermaids, whatever I might catch out on the water. I put little Velcro pads under here to cushion it as it comes down onto the kayak. You can see I added some boat cleats on either sides for anchoring. I also put some up here on the very front, so when my cooler's sitting here I hook a bungee across the top and it holds the lid down because the fish are bumping on that. I installed, again, these are great ideas off of YouTube, a little eye hook with a rope and a handle, just like on a lawnmower, so when I'm sitting in my seat I can grab the handle, stand myself up and down. I don't really need to do that, but it just makes it easier. As you can see, the trolling motor clamps right onto the 2x6. I have a 30-inch shaft on there. I wanted a short shaft, so what if I get in shorter water? You know, I can use that. The motor, of course, does move up and down, but I just wanted to get the shorter length shaft. I also, as you can see, put a boat cushion, so now where I was sitting down on the bottom of the kayak, only sitting up 4 inches, now I'm sitting up a total of 13 inches with 10 inches of storage space underneath. A lot of boats have this real thin decking material that they put in, like 1/16 of an inch or maybe 1/8 inch. I bought this 1/4 inch thick EVA foam exercise mat from Walmart and laid it in my boat for sound deadening, for cushioning. I mean, imagine dropping a pair of pliers in a kayak that sounds like a cannonball under the water. So I laid this here so that I have my anchor. Whatever I've got is laying on this softer foam. Plus, this boat comes with grooves that are automatically made for the chair to move forward and back. And so I took 1/2 inch PVC piping and I laid that in there so that when I'm standing on a solid surface underneath. And you can see that's right about where your heels would be. So now I've got a nice solid surface by just laying the loose pipe in there. You don't have to do that, but I just did it just to make it more level. I also recommend getting these coil spring things to put your oar on to help hold the paddle so it doesn't get away from you. Much better than using a rope like this that might tangle around your leg or ankle should you fall out of the kayak for whatever reason. This kayak, of course, comes with a hatch. It comes with a dry well, cup holders in the center. I think the newer models, they've kind of rearranged some of that. Again, this matting is great because the kayak, I see people buying matting and they stick them down in between these ridges, but that means that there's nothing on top protecting these if something's on top of them making noise. So I just lay these things in there like that. When I'm done fishing, I take them out and rinse them off. It's no big deal. But you can see how I've taken the matting and cut it to configure under the seat and across the entire boat. I added handles on either side. The kayak only comes with front and back handles. I added a little basket where you can put a beverage holder, you can put radios, walkie-talkies are great if you're out with somebody else. Put your pliers in there. Always recommend tethering things down so you don't lose them. This is available off of Amazon. I think for 10 bucks you get like 4 or 5 of them. It's a pretty good deal. So let's talk about the Outriggers. The reason I did that is when I raised my seat up 10 inches to the bottom, 13 to the top, I changed my center of gravity. And yes, I was out one day and a wave hit me as I was leaning over to pull up a fish, and I ended up going in the drink. So what I did was I extended my 2x6, got a 2x6 stretcher, and I put a longer 2x6 on, 8 inches off the boat, and then I put these 3/4 inch aluminum posts, and I made my Outriggers out of 2 7-inch by 14 lobster floats, I believe is what they're called. They're huge. They're 7 inches diameter by 14 inches. So I glued them together with that yellow construction adhesive foam, and I put a pole goes through the middle, and you have to notch it out. I put a T in here, coming up to this cross. It's all 3/4 inch, runs through. I put a little release pin on the top of it. I put a cap and a little release pin on the T, but you don't have to do that because these slide out very easily from the kayak. I use pipe clamps and L brackets. The L brackets hold it down. I put if you wonder what the black is, that's electrical tape, just to soften it so I don't have metal clanking against metal out on the water. And these just slide in. And then what I do is I have a cotter pin with, I think that's what it's called, or a clevis pin. It's got the different holes in it. And I got a little pin releasing. I drilled a hole through the aluminum, and then this slides through there, and I put the pin in to hold it in place. I'm not really worried about these pulling away from the kayak, but I do that just for the sake of keeping everything in place. Rod holders across the back, as you can see. Trolling motor, 2x6 with L brackets. Raised seat, boat cushion gets you up a lot higher for better visibility. Got the pull handle for lifting myself in the air. I've got the matting for sound deadening. Got anchor cleats and or bungee strap cleats to hold down the cooler. The little wheel carrier that I bought off Amazon for 34 bucks. I think they're 38 now. Fits in the very back. I have a cord there that holds that down in place. Batteries on one side, 8 crates on another. And that's how I've made my kayak to be extremely stable. An engineer said the further away you put your floats or stabilizers, the more stable your kayak's going to be. Well, I got to tell you, I can stand on the edge of this thing and it doesn't tip. These floats, 7-inch floats, are extremely buoyant. So if you want a good Outrigger stabilizer system, by the way, these were like, I don't know, 14, 17 bucks a piece. So I got 4 of them. What's that, 64 bucks? And then the aluminum posts were $10 from Lowe's or Home Depot. It's 3/4 inch posts. You buy the little pipe clamps and L brackets, however you want to mount it on there. But it's like standing in a Boston Whaler, guys. My kayak does not tip side to side at all. Not at all. And this kayak is 24 inches interior width anyway for standing. It's 31 from outside to outside, the gunnels. So it's a good little craft. The kayak empty weighs 78 pounds. It's easy to load on top of my RAV4. And I bought dorsal, these, I guess they're kayak pads, they're Velcro. They just wrap around your crossbars and Velcro to it. And I just slide my kayak up on top of those crossbars, on top of these pads. So I think I pretty much covered it all. Got cleats on the back that I added, again, to hold down my wheel carrier, or, oh, I even bought the little bumper, these little boat bumpers for like, I don't know what they were, $8 or something from Walmart to put, so if I'm out with somebody and they want to come up alongside me, I can hang some boat bumpers off the cleats. But it's a pretty good deal, pretty good setup. If you like this, you want to take any of these ideas to use for yourself, having a raising chair, sitting up higher, very easy to install. 2x6 with L bracket stainless steel, very easy to install. Outriggers with a 3/4 inch aluminum pole and floats like this made out of this hard polystyrene, whatever they're made of, they're incredible. I had to cut them with a saw to actually notch where the post would go in the middle. Really great stuff. Very, very stable kayak. If you got any questions, would like any answers, hit me up. Be glad to answer them for you.